Hello boyos, Rich Boy J here back in with another video, and this is going to be part 22 of the Vardos mock build series. If you couldn't tell from my voice, I'm a little under the weather, but that is not stopping me from bringing you guys this week's episode. Before I get into the content of the episode, I do want to say a very special thanks to this week's live stream donators. They are Dan6151, Nightfolk911, Tinyfilmproductions, SW Brick75, Screemin Seagull, Jedi Bob, Ben Shapiro, Hamburger Helper, and I do want to also give a special thanks to two people that sent PayPal donations. Usually when I do these videos and I look up the list of people who donated this week, I just check my super chats for the week. However, these two individuals, I totally forgot to check my PayPal donations, and I definitely didn't want to leave them out. So very special thanks to Ferrari Breaks and Zandy Boy. You guys are certainly appreciated, and I'm sorry that this came at sort of a delay, but I did want to get this in one of these updates nonetheless. Like I always say, guys, if you aren't enjoying these live streams, I certainly urge you to. It is a great way to not only see the mock early, but to also hang around with a bunch of boyos, talk Star Wars, all that good stuff. I think most people would agree that it is a very good time. So insofar as the mock, I got a lot of stuff done this week, and I'm really happy with the progress that I got done. The most obvious thing you guys can tell is I actually got that building right there, pretty much finished up on three sides. The back side is the only one that I can't work on right now, because there's buildings that are going to be literally pushing right up against it, and I don't want to put extra bricks that I don't have to that'll end up just being covered up by other buildings. So that'll have to be kind of put off. But got a lot of work done on that. Got also a lot of work done on the building right behind these two buildings, the one that kind of bridges that courtyard to that street over there. So that's going to be really exciting to show you guys, and just a lot of other little small updates here and there. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right into the mock. Trying to decide where to even begin on this week's episode of showing off the mock was quite the task, just because I got so much work done. But I figured I'd start from just a very wide angle, show you guys that we have a bit of a porg infestation going on here, and what better infestation to have than a porg infestation. First thing I want to draw you guys' eyes to is, of course, the big building right here. I think this is the thing that's going to stand out the most in terms of updates that I made to the mock. It is finished from three sides, so this side, the inside, as well as the other side over there, and I'll show you guys closer views of both of those sides. But this makes me very happy. Having this building done means that this entire row of buildings are all completed, and from right here, the mock looks very complete, or at least near completion, so that makes me very happy. One of the cool things that I was actually able to implement on this building are these two pipes right here. So you can see that I used a bunch of the Technic connector pieces, as well as the macaroni ones at the top and the very bottom. That is something that I had planned to implement for the longest time. I just forgot to order the parts, like all those individual cylinders that go all the way up. Finally got that order in, and I just quickly rushed to put that together because I think that it looks really nice. I like the way it looks, and it adds a lot to that building. It does a lot to help differentiate it from a lot of the other buildings, which was really one of my big concerns, just really having variable buildings that were distinct from each other. Obviously, these three on this side are very much the same, absent the top part of this building right here. But the fact that this entire assembly is just so unique compared to anything else in the mock makes me happy. It's primarily light gray, which is also cool. So it does add a bit of uniqueness to that area of the mock, which I think is nice. Also got the roof done. You can see, if you look in front of those two porgs, got the little light up top. It's going to be red, and I've really wanted to install more of those. Just once I got to the tops of those other buildings, I realized that I didn't want to waste that much wire running it all the way up to the top. But since this was really the last really tall building I was going to be making, I guess aside from the big tower in the back, I figured why not add a light on the top. And whenever I show you guys the illuminated portion of this video, I think that you actually will quite enjoy it. It looks really nice. But if we take a closer look, even down in there, you can start to see the reverse side of the building that I worked on, right on the opposite side of this. So finally got that filled up with something there. I really wanted to have something there. The top of that building is not finished, but having that entire section finally closed off is actually really good. It's really good progress. And the last thing I really have to do in that general area is to put a red Imperial Banner that will actually hang right from that catwalk. Still not exactly sure how I want to do that. I mean, I could just get some red tiles and maybe print something to put, like a sticker or something to put on it. I'm not entirely sure what route I want to go with that, but if you guys have suggestions, definitely let me know. yeah, so let me know. Let me know what you guys think about that. But moving around to this side of the Moc, you can see that a lot of work was done over here as well. We finally have the closed-in balcony where the stormtrooper awaits the arrival of the now disassembled AT-AT. When the Moc gets finished, that thing will be sitting straight up. And this actually reminds me, I need to convert this thing from a First Order version to an Imperial version. So that is definitely on the to-do list. But yeah, we got the balcony finally done. There are some lights in there, so once you guys see the lit up portion of the video, you'll see just how nice it looks. I think it actually looks quite nice, that balcony right there. And still have to do some tile work down there on the ground, but just having this side of the building done is also very nice. Get some really nice views of it, honestly, just looking at the AT-ST walker and the building right behind it, as well as that wall behind it. I don't know, just makes me really happy. I'm happy that so much progress was made on this Moc. I was actually quite happy with the, I guess, guardrail design that I came out with. Guardrails are not very common in Star Wars, so when they put them in, it is actually quite a special thing. So, I don't know, it's fairly simple, but got the job done. It looks close to what it appears to be in the game. There we go. Yeah, so I left myself another stud open to perhaps put another stormtrooper or something in there. I don't know, maybe I'll put the rocket launcher, who knows, but have that space open for another figure. So all in all, this scene is looking really nice. And the last building that I'm gonna have to do is, of course, can't forget about the big tower over there, but there's basically just a row of buildings that kind of go along there, just kind of from this building all the way back to the end of the Moc. The AT-AT will sit on this side of them. So that's really the last big chunk of work that I need to get done on this Moc, and still not entirely sure how I'm going to do it. It's pretty straightforward, which is nice because I don't have to think too much about the design, but there are a lot of, I guess, unique parts of that building, so got a few things to figure out, but all in all, should go pretty smoothly, which is very nice. Getting this building done was crucial to me continuing on the Moc, so now that it's finally done, I feel so much better about the Moc. Before I really talk about the details in it, I just want to say how I was able to accomplish this. If you look at where this building is situated, it's almost in the very center of the Moc, which means that it'd be very difficult for me to try to lean over this table and a half to work on it. And I mean, you can see, like, I have relatively long arms, and this is still quite difficult just for me to reach the very front of it. So I needed an easier way to work on it. What I actually ended up doing was splitting this table. You can see it really stops where that base plate starts from the table right in front of it. Now, you may ask, like, how did I do that with this contraption right here? Because this is not modular at all. This is all connected. This entire Moc is really connected. None of it is modular. What I did was I basically just slid this table. I pivoted it over this way while still keeping this side of the table underneath this entire build right here, which is very scary, very concerning, because a large gap of it between the two tables was still exposed, and I don't know, it was very concerning. I was afraid that the middle of the Moc would just kind of cave in on itself, but obviously that did not happen. Everything seems to be still in order, which is nice. The lights still work, which is also very nice, because that's a problem I really don't want to deal with. But all in all, everything ended up working out. I finally got that section of the Moc done. Still have the roof to do, which is I'm not too concerned about. I figured it'll just end up being tiled up with a few, maybe I'll do some of the satellites, kind of like the tops of those right there. Not the whole thing, but just the top of it, because there are a few of those actually on this building. And I don't know, maybe a light or two, who knows. But all in all, just having this done is actually really important. And this is actually very telling and why I couldn't really work on this building until I got this done. Because obviously, because this building pushes right up against that one, I wanted to make sure that when doing basically this big side wall of it, I didn't just start from the very bottom and then build up a brick design that would just end up getting covered up by this building. So you can see literally it's just all colorful filler bricks right until you get to the very top, and then it resumes the actual design of the building. Helped me save a lot of my important light gray and dark gray bricks, which was key to me not having to spend more money than necessary on this Moc. So everything ended up working out with that, and I actually do quite like the design of this building. Just I don't know, it looks unique, looks different than anything else in this Moc, and with a Moc that's primarily gray, dark gray and light gray, that's actually very important. So having that done is really nice, and you can also see there's a little entrance right there, and the idea of this is Once they're in the courtyard, they defect, they run out along this side, then they go down there, they make their way inside that building over to this street, they go under these buildings, and then they come out basically like right here, and then they would march out and go do other stuff. But long story short, they end up coming back around the street on the AT-AT Walker, which is why it is right here. So in my head canon of the Moc, everything still makes sense, which is always very important to me. Accuracy is quite important. There are a few details in here I did want to show you guys. You can see that I have these like gated doors, which is, it's kind of hard to tell without the lights on. You will get a better view whenever I do the illuminated portion of the video. That is accurate to the end game portion of the level. So obviously, like I said, accuracy is quite important. And I don't know, I think it looks really, really cool, especially with the lights on. The fact that there's just like this little kind of room down there, hidden in there, you probably wouldn't notice it until the lights are on. It's like, oh, look, there's something down in there, I'll check in there. And now for the main event of the video, you can see that I got quite a bit of work done on the tower itself. Finally got those ugly blacks and reds out of there. These little pillars are now finally fully gray, which is very nice. I love the way the building looks, and I can really just envision it going all the way up to the top, so that's going to be really cool. I did make quite a bit of progress on this side, really just trying to fill in the gaps on this kind of, this shape right here, trying to fill those in. I still have to do a little bit of work towards the top, but all in all, you can get a pretty good idea of exactly what this is supposed to look like, just so there's not any ugly studs exposed. I'm trying to use the slopes as best as I can. It's not the perfect angle to be able to do that, but I'll see what I can do. So yeah, that's coming along actually very well. And I didn't start on the other side. I actually wanted to finish up this design because the building is basically symmetrical right down the middle. I figured just, work on one side, perfect it, and then just mirror it, but on the other side, no big deal. Started more of these columns on the side of the building, so these are going to go really every other one of these little sections around the building. This middle section is actually really the only one that's not like that, just because it is like twice the width of it, so I just put one directly in the middle. So the next one will go here, it'll skip one there, and then one maybe in the middle on the back, depending on what I decide to do with it. The way I'm currently building it, I intend on having a couple of rooms down here at the very bottom of it, kind of the basement of the building. So you guys will see what those are moving forward, but we'll see how I end up kind of implementing the outside design of the building with the inside, because obviously you'll need to be able to view the inside of it. So all in all, that's coming along pretty well. You can see that the door is almost finished. I'm missing a 1x1 tile right there. So once that gets in, we'll have the full Imperial pattern, and just getting this view alone makes me really happy, because it really is starting to resemble that big tower on Vardos, which makes me quite excited. Also did finish up a lot of the work on this side. You can see that this column was just not there altogether last week, but at least got that started up. For the most part, it's done, just have some tiles to fill in there. And then, of course, still got to put the other main pillar that comes down right along the edge of the stairs there. And then from really the entire front hard part of the design will be completed on this tower. So man, I'm so excited. I'm so just ready to continue working on this Moc. I hope you guys are excited right along with me. The last thing I did want to show you guys before we move to the lit portion of the Moc is right here. So this is where the statue of Admiral Versio is going to stand. I actually have designed that statue. I'm not going to show it to you because parts are on the way, and I wanted to have it done this week. It's not going to be able to be done. The parts are going to get here tomorrow, literally. So I'll work on that. If you check out the live stream, you'll probably see it completed standing here on the Moc. But I am just super excited to show that off to you guys, because I think I did a pretty good job designing a basically scaled up minifig. It wasn't as straightforward as me just, like copying the Giant Man, because that scale wasn't exactly correct. But I did take a few design elements from it, and all in all, it's going to look so cool. I really can't wait to implement that. The other thing I did under this is I had some copper wire, or copper tape actually, lined up in here. There's going to be basically two spotlights at the very edges of this that shine up towards the statue. So that'll all be covered with like flowers in there, and then the statue will basically stand on that pedestal in the middle. So And I'm so excited to get that put up because that's actually one of the most recognizable parts of the mission. But that's really all I got for the part of this Moc that is under the lights. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the lights in the room, turn on the Moc lights, and you guys will get to see it fully illuminated. And here is Vardos under its own lights. So, man, this every time I do this segment, it makes me so happy. But you can see some of the new lights I implemented, like that red one right there. I love the aesthetic of the Porg just standing right under the red light. It looks like it's his birthday or something. But moving actually over to this side, because I got quite a few lights installed over here. You can see that the balcony is fully illuminated. So we got our Storm Boy right there aiming at the AT-AT Walker, as I said earlier, as well as that light down there. That's actually not a new light addition, but just having them both actually on that building is quite cool. One thing I don't understand, I don't know if it's just maybe the bottom one is a faulty LED, but the top one is considerably more of a white light than the bottom one. The bottom one has kind of a yellow tint to it, so I'm not sure if that's something I'll change just because it's so heavily built into that building, but it was kind of weird because it's the exact same LED that I use. But if we move forward back around this side of the Moc, you can see I got more of those pathway lights on the main courtyard, so they're really kind of in the ground right there, and they line both sides of that main pathway. So those on that side are finally done. I think I had maybe one of those done last week, but yeah, those are all finally fully installed. And you can see it's actually quite complex how I had to do it because the power runs from underneath the stairs over there. So I ran basically 2 copper wire strips going down to both sides. Had to wire those lights in that way, but all in all, it ended up working out pretty well. Wish I could have done maybe a little bit better job cleaning up the Moc before I started today, but I was just feeling sick and it was getting a little bit late, and I wanted to get this Moc up relatively early Sunday, like I've done for the most part in the past. So that's kind of why it's still very cluttered with parts, but I think I will more than make up for it in the end once this Moc gets finished up. And the last new lights that I installed are right here on this building. You can see I have 2 on the sides of that pathway, and then there is actually a light down in there. So there you can get maybe a better view of those gated doors on either side. So all in all, Moc is looking pretty good, guys. This is so fun for me. I enjoyed building the Moc before, but now that I guess I'm so close to being done and I'm building so many cool parts of it, like the big tower, finishing off really tall buildings, it's making me just more excited to work on this Moc. So I'm having a great time, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the ride along with me. But that's really all I got for you guys this week. Because I skipped last week with a views video, I feel like I got enough done between the last views video and this week to where I'll actually put out another one this week. So if you guys are watching this build series and you did not look at the views video, definitely urge you to do that. It's basically just a compilation of like really nice photographs I take of this Moc. It's kind of meant to be at like the eye level of a minifigure. They're just really good, nice quality photos of the Moc. So sometimes there'll even be some updates in there. If I work on stuff between the update and the next update, I'll show that off in the views video. So if you want to see some parts of the Moc early or just really nice pictures of it, definitely want to check out the views video as well. But that's going to finish up this video. I'm going to go ahead and move to the last segment. And that's going to finish the video this week, guys. I hope that you enjoyed the progress that I got done. This is the type of video that I really like to put out. I just feel like I got so many different things done on the Moc, a lot of big things, especially with this building finally being complete for the most part, as well as that building right behind it. These are the types of updates that I really like to have for this Vardos Moc build series. And I don't want to get too excited, but I really feel like I'm converging upon an ending on this Moc. I obviously still have quite a bit to do with that big street that's going to be over on that side, and what might end up being the pathway between the big tower and I guess the other side of the Moc. But those are pretty straightforward things in my opinion. Those aren't things that I'm going to have to spend extensive time planning. It's just things that I have to build up. So I'm getting really optimistic and seeing a finishing of this Moc in the very near future. So that's obviously very exciting for me. Other than that, moving forward, I hope to just keep building up on that big tower over there. That was really my big plan this week, but then I realized I just had to get the work done on that building, kind of branching the tower and the street on the other side, just so I could be able to not only work on that other street and the buildings over there, but also I didn't want to get the tower built up too tall. and then try to split the tables and then have something catastrophic happen. So I figured, while the tower is just at a maintainable size, just split the tables, be able to work on that area between it, and then finally close up the tables and never have to get between there again. This mock has been so crazy to work on, but seeing it all come together, especially with this front building finally finished, all these front buildings right here finally done, it really is looking like a city to me. It's looking like a more complete mock, and that is just so exciting. It really does compel me and motivate me to work on this thing even more. But that's going to finish the video this week, guys. Like I always say, if you like what I do, go and support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.